What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another transfer window update. Less than a week to go until the close of this window. We are in desperate need of players, especially a striker. And it looks like we have some news to bring you today as Steven Bergwijn, is that how you pronounce his name?
Bergwijn, Dutch international from PSV.
Exactly, Dutch international from PSV has been left out the PSV squad today, apparently because he's in talks with Tottenham.
Yeah, apparently the coach even saying, the coach Faber from PSV saying, if you don't want to be here, then it's best you leave. Apparently he said that to Bergwijn. And this has come out of absolutely nowhere. Just like Willian Jose, apparently we're very good at getting players to be omitted from squads. That's what we're good at, except for actually getting the deal over the line. But it's a bit peculiar one because he's a wide forward, more of a kind of Son position than an actual out-and-out striker. Clearly has bags of potential, bags of ability. I think we saw last season when we played against PSV. He's a really tricky player, but usually he plays on the wing. So why would be in for him at this stage when we're desperate for a striker is a bit peculiar. He has played up front a few times, but his natural position is out on the wing. Yeah,
I mean, he's a guy that holds a lot of pace, trickery, good feet. The only problem is that we've got players in those positions. We've got Son, we've got Lucas. Is he going to be vying for those positions, or is he going to be trying to go and replace Harry Kane for a while he's out injured, and then when Harry Kane's back, then he can, try and play on the wing or play as a second striker, something like that? I don't know. It's an interesting one.
It's clear he's a very versatile player. It's all happened so quickly, so we're just trying to get our head around it. It actually looks like this deal could be actually imminent, according to various reports in Holland. And I guess we have to see what the reports in England are going to say.
Do you know how tall he is? If
he's like 5'10". He's not short, but he's not especially tall. He's not over 6 foot. He's not a target man, that's for sure. He's just not. He's not that kind of target man that Jose said he wants. Whether this whole thing's a ploy to draw another club into the action and get them to bid. Apparently, he'd be going for around 30 million euros, which is a pretty cheap option. And look, he's clearly a player with bags of ability that would help the squad. Yeah, he would definitely help our squad. I wouldn't say if we signed it, we're not signing this target man, so I'm not happy. Obviously, I'm happy with strengthening the team because I think we need that. But it's just peculiar if we start to invest in this area first as a priority when we have other priorities.
Do you think it's a possibility to get him plus a target man in?
I hope so. I think, given the fees, if we're getting him for say 30 million euros, there should be more than enough money there to get another player in. So I would say there should be, but whether we actually splash out the cash, seeing as maybe this is how they see replacement for Eriksen.
Potentially.
Kind of. So,
but I think that's Lo Celso.
That's what I'm saying. So they'll put Lo Celso there, and then they'll kind of have him as that kind of Lo Celso, because Lo Celso's been playing out wide, hasn't he, sometimes? So maybe have Lo Celso full-time in the centre and have another player filling out wide.
And then a striker on top of that.
And then a striker. Look, if we sign this guy and a striker, I'll be very, very happy. And Lo Celso, I'll be delighted. Whether we will or not, remains to be seen. We've only got 5 days left of the window, so there's a lot to get through. But I think Bergwijn, that's exciting prospect, exciting potential deal. A player that's much sought after in Europe and clearly has bags of ability. Dutch international.
Very young as well, 22
years old. He has so much potential. But whether we're signing him to play up front, because he's played up front a few times for PSV, or we're signing him to play on the wing, remains to be seen. It's just an interesting one. It came out of the blue. Didn't expect it. Did not expect this one to waking up this morning and seeing Bergwijn set to join Tottenham. It makes you question what journalists actually know when this comes out of the blue. He's pulled out of the squad. Clearly, negotiation must be going on for a time.
It was exactly the same with Willian Jose. He pulled out of the squad, and that came out of absolutely nowhere as well.
Let's talk about Willian Jose a bit as we're there. Guillaume Balaguer has said today that the deal is pretty much dead. That's what he had. So don't get too excited about Bergwijn if that's the case. Apparently, we're not prepared to pay 21 million. We're not prepared to pay.
The original reports were like, we're going to pay 50 million for this.
Yeah, I mean, apparently we're only prepared to pay like 11 million. They want 21. It makes me question if we don't think he's worth 20 million, how good can he be?
Exactly.
And so why are we going in for him?
But although I did have a look at his stats just now, and it looks like that he's probably having the best season he's ever had in terms of goals to games ratio.
Look, he's a decent striker. He could help the team whilst Kane is out. He's the right profile of what we want. He's a big lad, strong, holds up the ball. He's got a decent finish on him as well. He would be a threat. He's not going to be a world-class striker for us, but he'll be a decent replacement for Kane. But if we're not prepared to pay 20 million, which in this current day and age is like not much in modern day football, then I question why we're going for him at all if we're not prepared to pay that extra bit. It's not like he's like 34 or something. He's 28, still got a few years in him.
You're talking about the potential of signing Bergwijn and Willian Jose for a combined fee of like £45 million.
Which
Which
could be
is
decent.
a steal, to be honest, in this current market. You know, you're talking about getting players in alone for 50, 60 million. So if we can get 2 players that can really help the team for that price, I think it's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, I think it could just whether they're going to take too much time to settle, and if that's the case, then that could be a problem because they might not be needed as much next season. So I don't know, but Guillaume Balaguer saying that deal for the moment looks pretty much dead, but it could be resurrected.
I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns left in this transfer.
It's probably a negotiation ploy from Spurs.
Yeah, as everything is. But let's move on to Piatek. Any news on that?
Well, Damasio, who's a Sky Italia reporter who's usually very reliable, he's done an article today saying that Tottenham have regained contact with AC Milan in regards to Christian Piatek, and they still hold strong interest in him, and they're going to pursue that deal and see if that can resurrect that deal and see if something can be done, apparently.
Yeah, and also what I've heard is that Piatek met with AC Milan, the hierarchy of AC Milan, earlier this week because he wanted to clarify his situation because of obviously Zlatan coming to the club, and he hasn't seen many minutes.
Well, clearly he wants to leave. Clearly they don't want him too much. So I think there's clearly a deal that could be done if no one else goes in for him. But they want that 30 million, don't they? They want to recoup the fee that they paid for him last January.
Yeah.
And I think we want more of a loan option to buy, as of course we do.
But I think the more he stays at AC Milan, surely his value just decreases and decreases if he's not going to play.
You would think so. I think a loan with an option to buy could be in their interest because if he kills it at Tottenham, we're going to buy him, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that could be a good thing for them. They want the cash. They want the risk. I think they've been burnt a few too many times with like Higuain and people like that. So maybe they just want to get him off the books as quickly as possible. This one could go down to the wire, I feel.
I think they all could, but who would you prefer, Willian Jose or Piatek?
Piatek is younger. He's not as physical as Willian Jose. He hasn't done it for as long. But in the year that he did do it, he was a lot better than Jose's ever been.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one. I think I would, but Jose does it against big teams as well. He's seen that. He's got pedigree in those big games. So you get the feeling that maybe with better players around him, he could be even better. But he's 4 years older. I think Piatek's more of a risk. I think you know what you get with William Jose. So I think
William Jose
might be a bit cheaper as well. I think maybe just William Jose might be a better option, just because I think
he's more established.
Yeah, he's more established. You kind of know what you're getting with him, and I think he has pedigree in big games as well. But I just think Piatek has a higher ceiling, so he's one where you're signing him looking more to the future. Maybe he's a
but then again, you're thinking when we're signing a striker, we should only be looking really short term, because then again next season Kane's going to be back and this striker might not see many minutes.
So I think just about Willian Jose.
Moving on to Christian Eriksen, any developments in that? Is he leaving yet? Obviously, he was finally left out the squad against Southampton this weekend.
Yeah, Damasio again. He's wrote an article today saying that Christian Eriksen has all the fees have been agreed. Everything's been agreed. He's going to fly in for his medical, and that'll be that. He'll be gone. But very interestingly, first of all, the price apparently is 20 million euros plus 2 million euros bonus, which is a pretty good fee for a player who's running out contract for 6 months.
300 grand a week or something.
Apparently, he's getting a lot of money, which obviously would be one of the motivations. Apparently, he's going to be by far the highest paid player at Inter.
So all the rumours of when this interlinks first came about him getting 120 grand a week there or something, completely wide off the mark.
Which is fair, because you know when you've only got 6 months left, you can expect, usually a player of Eriksen's ability going to cost you between 80 and 100 million. So they're only paying 20, so they're going to give the rest to Eriksen, aren't they?
Surely Alexis Sanchez is somewhere around that mark as well.
No, I don't think so, because I think they're not paying all his wages. Because I think Man United is still paying a high proportion of the wages. So, obviously, yeah, Sanchez is on 400 grand a week in total, but I think Man United are probably paying like 50% of that. So Eriksen's apparently going to be on about 320 grand a week, so big pay rise for him, off from his 75 grand a week wage at Tottenham. DiMarzio very interestingly said that Tottenham don't want to announce the deal though before they've brought in a replacement, which is quite interesting.
So this could be the Stephen Bergwijn.
That's what I'm thinking. I think Bergwijn could be announced. That could be the guy we're looking for, and then we announced Bergwijn and Lo Celso together with Eriksen's departure, and I think that probably brings adequate cover for Eriksen, you would have to say.
And you got to think about the wages as well, because Eriksen, he's on about 70 grand with us at the moment. Bergwijn is on 5k a week at PSG. So if he comes to us, he'll probably be on 30 or something that.
Probably around 50, I reckon.
No, I reckon a bit less. I reckon maybe 30, and then with some assurances where he will go up if he plays better.
Maybe.
Especially if he's on 5k, you know what I mean? But anyway, look, I think it's all good news. Eriksen obviously has been playing poor for us recently, so let's get him out, get someone new in.
I think the fact he was left out of the squad, even though he travelled on the weekend, just speaks volumes of how close the deal. Because if you're gonna, before we kept playing him, and that's
a scare tactic probably.
Yeah.
Inter.
And I think that'll be some good business. I think, but getting Bergwijn and Lo Celso in permanently, that's some good replacements for Eriksen. I think, and I think Bergwijn as well offers that extra pace that sometimes when either Son and Lucas are not playing, we kind of lack that, and so he'll offer that, and hopefully Lo Celso will hopefully cover for the vision of Eriksen. So hopefully the squad's now starting to take shape. It's just a shame that Poch couldn't oversee it, and there's now Jose. But look, Jose's doing his bit. So
yeah, exactly. Look, we're getting better and better. So let's just keep our faith in Jose and put 100% our support behind him. And just one more player I want to talk about, those rumours that never go away.
Yeah.
The one and only Gareth Bale. Anything you can tell me?
Nothing that I shouldn't be saying, but apparently from the Daily Express, however you want to put that, apparently we are working...
Tier 20.
Exactly. We're working around the clock, apparently, to get a deal done for Gareth Bale, to see if anything can be done. Apparently, Real Madrid are willing to take a lower fee of 30 million, because they just want him off the books, but due to the financials that are involved in the deal, the Daily Express says it's highly unlikely to happen. Look, it's not going to happen. I don't know why we're talking about it. He's on 600 grand a week.
Yeah, but where could he go?
Nowhere. He's going to be stuck in Madrid. He can't go anywhere.
His contract runs out in a year? In 2 years? Something like that.
2 years,
Where's he going to go? But I guess when his contract's up, he'll be 32 years old. So,
Look, I think it's a deal, as I've always said, that's better in the head than it actually is that in reality. Better left to the imagination. I don't even think if it did happen, it would be a success. Honestly, I don't think it would. So I think it's best to be left alone. Concentrate on the future players. Concentrate on players like Bergwijn, who are coming up and potentially could be the next Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to move on from this kind of deal.
Yeah, well, it's just
the only way I would.
These rumours just never go away. Every single transfer window.
The only way this could be a good deal for Spurs is if we're like paying. First of all, that, and say if we pay like a small fee of say like 20 million, and Madrid pay like 80% of his wages, that's the only way. That's like a good deal for Spurs. Otherwise, I think it's too much money for a player that has too many injury problems and hasn't been at his best for a couple of years at least.
All right. So, ideal realistic window for you is?
Well, now it looks like Bergwijn's coming. I think for me, if we get Bergwijn in. Even though I wouldn't have said we needed him before, but now all of a sudden that we got a glimpse of him, so I have to have him. Have Bergwijn. I think get him in, sign Lo Celso on a permanent, get one of Piatek and Willian Jose, and that'll be a very good window. If we could add to that a right back in Max Aarons, that would be perfect.
Do you not think a left back is actually more important now?
Now that Rose is leaving.
Now Rose is pretty much not getting a look in.
I think Rose is. I think left back's probably more priority for the moment than right back. You're probably right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're probably right. But then Ben
although
Davies
we've got Ben
coming
Davies coming back soon, so that'll be a big plus for us.
I think with Davis coming back, and then obviously he says Jaffet, maybe he's going to play there a bit more often. I'm not sure. I'm not happy about that, but I think with Ben Davis coming back, that could be a good option for us. So maybe it could be all right. I think
also Jaffet can play left or right. So you know when Jaffet's on the right, Sessegnon can play on the left.
I would say
he's on the left. Aurier can play on the right.
I would say he can play right back. He can do a job at left back. I wouldn't say he can play left back, if you know what I mean. He can kind of fill in there.
Well, he played well there yesterday.
I know, but he didn't seem comfortable there. He seemed like he did a job there. He did a very good job defensively, but
yeah, but I think he's a young player. He can learn. He's still in the learning business. So.
But my point is, like, you saw how when he was playing right back, how he could stride forward. He was confident on the ball. He can do things. When he's left back, he can't do these things.
Yeah, but he's got the potential to learn. You know what I mean? He's played more games at left back now than he has at right back for us, and I think that he's got better from the game that he did play at left back, and maybe he'll get better again the next time he plays at left back.
Well, if we end the window with Gedson in, Bergwijn in, one of the strikers in, and Lo Celso permanently, how would you rate it? Well, would that be a very good window for you?
Best January we've ever had, probably.
So, 5 days to go. Do you believe? Let's see on deadline day. So, this is all going down to deadline day, so don't get too excited. None of this is probably imminent. You know how Levy is. We've probably agreed a deal with PSV 10 times. He's probably gone back on it another 10. So we'll have to wait and see. But the Bergwijn stuff is apparently the most imminent transfer. Come out of nowhere, and that's the one to get excited about.
We'll probably get Bergwijn and then a deadline day for like Christian Benteke or something on loan. So we'll see. Look, we always get
Llorente's still there. He's still
we
available.
always get our hopes up. Just cast your mind back to the summer. How excited we were getting about Dybala.
No. Apparently, he said in an interview recently, Dybala said he was very, very close to joining Tottenham.
Yeah, I read that.
And he wasn't sure, but at last minute, obviously, it didn't happen.
Yeah, because we didn't want to pay the image rights, and then we paid the image rights to sack Poch, pretty much.
Fuck you, image star.
But anyway, that's our transfer update today. We'll try and bring these as regularly to you until the end of the transfer window. So like, subscribe, and comment below. Tell me what you think of these transfer rumours. Tell me which one you want in. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.